What's up guys, it's Johnny Candido of Candido Training HQ, and today I'm going to talk about a common issue people have, and that is their hips shooting up in the deadlift. So what most people initially think is that this means their quads are weak and that they need to practice keeping their hips down as they break inertia and get the weight up off the floor. The truth is the issue is much simpler, and the solution is very easy. All you need to do is stop trying to squat the weight up and perform the deadlift in the most efficient way, which is with higher hips. That's why your hips are rising, because that is simply the position in which your body is the strongest. This is way too common where people try to squat into the deadlift and their knees come more forward then, which forces the bar more forward, and then once they finally start the movement, their butt shoots up and now they're in proper position, but now they're not tight and the bar's too far forward, so it messes up the entire movement. But instead, if you just start in that higher hip position, load your hamstrings, tighten up your lower back, and then pull, you'll have a much smoother deadlift, and it'll be all one motion rather than two chopped up motions of you trying to get off the ground, then trying to hitch the weight up. And another thing, using higher hips isn't just a strategy to get more weight onto your deadlift, but it's also better for general strength training, because you're already squatting, so you're already performing a quad dominant movement. Now performing the deadlift how it should be with higher hips, you allow yourself to target the posterior chain. Now I'm not saying everybody should pull with their hips at the same height. There is no standard rule, because it's important to remember that everybody is built differently. Both in terms of muscular development, you might have stronger quads than hamstrings, and in terms of limb lengths. And this can alter the biomechanics of your lifts. The easiest way to find the proper hip height for you is to just videotape yourself deadlifting and see where your hips are when the weight actually comes off the floor. And then the next time you deadlift, simply start with that position and you'll find it is much easier and much safer.
So now let's take a quick look at an example of trying to squat the weight up versus using your hips properly. Here you see the athlete is trying to squat the weight up, as I mentioned earlier, and the bar is forced more forward, the center of gravity is more forward, your knees are more forward. And by the time the bar comes off the ground, as I said, the hips rise. So there's no advantage to starting so low like this, but there is a big disadvantage, and you can see how the athlete hitches the weight to get to lockout. Now when you see how I set up, notice how my torso is relatively horizontal. And this is the key, because you can't be afraid to bend at the hips when deadlifting. So now you see as I pull the weight off the floor that my hips and back rise together. That is what you want to see, that this is one fluid movement. Everything needs to be properly synchronized to efficiently perform the exercise.
So that's it guys, I hope this was helpful. Like the video, support the channel, subscribe if you haven't already, and thanks for watching guys. Peace!
Recognize my life, ridicule my fight. Give me fuel for the fire burning when I yearn these lights. In the midst of the hieroglyphs, my fingertips start to write.